Good morning again. Welcome to the Morning Mindset. We are here together every morning of the year. Yep, I said that right. Every morning of the year, you'll find one of these recordings to help you get your mind right as a believer in Jesus Christ. This is powerful stuff. We're talking about the truth of God every morning because the truth of God is truth with a capital T-R-U-T-H, right? It's the truth that governs all the universe. And the more we can align our thinking with God's truth, the more we'll be able to live in this world in a way that is aligned with truth. That means we'll be living in as sane a way as possible because we're living according to God's reality. And we've been looking at Romans chapter 3 the last few days, looking at what God has done for us in Christ, because it's important that we understand what He's done because it tells us who we are. And that's one of the things we struggle with every day, is knowing who we are in such a crooked world, in a world that's going crazy. We have to be grounded. We have to know who we are, because if we don't know who we are, we'll be pushed around by the people and the philosophies and the circumstances that happen in this fallen world. And Romans chapter 3 gives us this load of truth. It says in verse 25 that God put Christ forward as a propitiation by His blood to be received by faith. And you see, we receive what Jesus has done for us by faith. And if that word propitiation is throwing you off, go back to yesterday's edition of the Morning Mindset. That would have been episode 289. And understand that Jesus has taken God's wrath for you. He has borne the penalty of your sin, and you receive the benefit of that by faith. And what is the benefit? Well, it's cleansing of your sin. It's being made just in God's eyes and being made righteous with the righteousness of God. And that, my friends, is who you are. Now, I know you don't feel it. I know you don't always even believe it, but that is who the God of the universe says you are. You are righteous. You are forgiven. You are just because your penalty, the penalty for your sin, has been paid. That's who you are. And God did this, it says in Romans 3:25 and 26, to show His righteousness. Now hang on a second. God is sending Jesus to the cross to show His own righteousness? Yes. Because here's what it says, because in His divine forbearance, so in His patience, He had passed over former sins. And that makes total sense if you think just a moment about it. He by the time Jesus was sent to the cross, there were so many people who had lived and so many sins that had been committed. And Jesus had not yet died to pay the price for any sin. So in God's patience and forbearance, He had passed over former sins. And then in verse 26, it says, He sent Jesus to the cross to show His righteousness at the present time, so that He might be just in punishing sin, which He did in Jesus, but also the justifier of the one who has faith in Jesus. So you see, Jesus was God's means of not only being the righteous judge, but also being righteous in His mercy and forgiveness. You see, God had a way of doing both, of condemning our sin and condemning us as sinners, but also forgiving us. And He did it all through the perfect sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So you can stand confidently today, not in your own righteousness, but in the fact that God has made you righteous through what Jesus did for you on the cross. So you can stand confidently today. This day, you are God's righteous son. You are God's righteous daughter. Stand confidently in that today, no matter what the world throws at you, no matter what people or philosophies might say about you, or even how you feel. Live today confident. You're a righteous child of the King.